Shopping for skincare is frustrating. Buy it, try it, toss it, repeat. Curology is here to help. Curology pairs with your own licensed dermatology provider who assesses your skin and prescribes you a custom formula to tackle acne, dark spots, or even fine lines. No guesswork, just a formula made to work for you. Get your consultation today at Curology.com/SXM. Curology, skincare with a face. Subject to consultation, subscription required. Cancel anytime.
Justin and so good. Thousands of spring deals at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save big today on new arrivals from Kate Spade New York, Nike, Sam Edelman, Free People, and Madewell, starting at only $30. Great brands and great prices on dresses, denim, sandals, designer bags, and more. So rack your look and get first dibs on spring styles you want now from just $30 at your Nordstrom Rack store. What will you find?
Make some noise!
2017 Webby winner, known for his Cartoon Muppets hip-hop mashups, Mylo the Cat on Instagram, a.k.a. Adam.
Yeah.
Welcome to Library with Tim Heinekel. Thank you, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
So let's dumb it down a little bit. Describe exactly what you do with these cartoons and hip-hop songs.
Okay, so basically, I take existing footage, two pieces of existing content, and meld them together to create one. That's like the very simple explanation of it, but what I'm really doing is I'm taking these cartoons, taking existing animation and almost reanimating it and editing. Like, I'm a video editor, so like, number one, I'm an editor, but I'm kind of reanimating all these clips to make them do what I want them to do.
What is the brainstorming aspect of it? Like, you know, I think of when I do this podcast and I think of questions, they come to me, like this morning, for example, I'm interviewing an artist and later this week, and lyric came out. And I was biking to work. I had to stop the side of the road in New York City and like text myself, you know, the lyric, or text myself the question that I want to ask. What is the thought process for you? I mean, it could be as simple as like, you know, walking down the street, getting something from the deli. I mean, how does this work?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like nowadays, I think the song comes first, and it's all built around the song. But then I'm kind of spending equal as much time and thought process to really pick the right cartoon and stuff. And like, it's something that I've been doing for so long, but within just the past like 4 or 5 months, people are finally starting to notice that it's like, wait a minute, like this is actually the right character for this song. Like, how the hell did you do that? And to me, it's because I'm really sitting there, like, not just half-assing it anymore. I'm kind of like going for the gusto and like really saying, no, this is the right character. This is the right choice.
Does this mean there's like so I get the hip hop vault mind. I mean, I understand. I have a friend who could recite every fucking lyric in the world. But is it the same for you in terms of cartoons? I mean, kind of, is there something that you remember?
My knowledge of hip hop is way stronger, I would say. And, you know what? Cartoons, I've always been a cartoon fan. My friends still make fun of me to this day, like, oh, he loves cartoons, because I think, like, the best writing in comedy right now is, like, you know, Archer and BoJack Horseman and Rick and Morty and shows like that. Like, to me, those are the best shows on TV. And as I've gotten older, people are kind of like, oh my God, you still watch cartoons. But I think there's a lot of people that still watch cartoons. And the framework from that is just all the cartoons I watched growing up. Like, I don't know, for some reason, they made a huge impression on me. And I remember all of them. So I'm doing partially, like, my memory, but then there's a lot of searching and stuff, too. And I think, like, you know, I've told some people, like, in response to their comments, like, I'm a good Googler, too. You know, like, there's sometimes where I know the scene that I want, and I know that it exists, but I just have to find it.
Lyrics, when we talk about hip-hop lyrics, is there ever been a time where the artist, for example, has spit something that kind of has triggered a cartoon image for you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, yeah, because, you know what, once I do pick these songs, I know them so well, but when you listen back to them in that different way to, like, really, you know, find every little hidden moment, like, there's certain things that just, all of a sudden I'll hear a line and I'm like, oh my God, like, I got something for this. Like he mentions a gun or whatever, and I know there's a scene with a gun and like a robbery, you know, like stuff like that. Like I just know specifically that they're out there, and I kind of know the exact scene I'm looking for. So when I start searching, it might be hard to find, but once I find it, like I know exactly what I'm looking for. So it's kind of like all comes together.
Well, before we go on, let's talk about the first video mashup you did,
Sure.
I think about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The Kitty Criminal.
Yep.
Which is a real cat.
Yes, it is.
So to say, how did you go from Kitty Criminal, which also has a rock song on it?
It's like more like rock, like it's different than, it's not like a straight rock song.
Not a
but I
straight
know what
rock
you
song,
mean,
but
yeah.
non-hip hop song.
Yeah.
To going from that to cartoons and hip hop.
All right. Well, you know what? I will say, like, that song, I love that song. It's by one of my good friends, Peter Toe. Extremely talented musician, got like very close to making it big, but you know, the music business isn't exactly the greatest or easiest business to succeed in.
True.
At all. That's where I got my start. I was working with him early in my career. We were kind of running like a recording studio and record label kind of thing. And he did me a huge solid and let me use like all his music for my dumbass videos. And, you know, somehow he was just like, yeah, go for it. And that song, back in those days, I was a YouTube partner and I was like trying to be a full-time YouTuber. So I was only using stuff that I owned complete rights to. So it was like his music, and then like the Cats was like nonsense that I filmed and stuff like that. And then it kind of evolved to like we were recording a lot of rappers and stuff. And I have another friend, a rapper by the name Solo for Dolo, who's been in the underground game for about 10 years probably. He's been doing his thing. And he kind of gave me the same deal. He was like, you know, any of my songs that you want to use, go for it. And another guy by the name of Coma, same thing with him. He was just kind of like, yeah, man, like do your thing with these cats and dogs. And I was doing cats and dog videos. And back then, like, some of them got some views and some didn't, and people were kind of like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I kind of knew, like, no, like, this is something here. This is something.
You talk about underground hip hop, and you just talk about independent artists, right?
Sure, yeah.
What has been your kind of big takeaway from them in terms of your work ethic about these videos and about kind of creating something that's perfect in your mind? What has been that takeaway? What have you learned from them?
From like underground artists?
From underground artists.
Well, like, you know what? The biggest lesson I could learn from the underground world, I think, is from LP, the rapper LP, who's a guy who was underground for probably 15, 20 years. Like, and he had fans and, you know, he did well and was like a known underground rapper, but no one really knew him. And then all of a sudden, him and Killer Mike come out with Run the Jewels. And they're like a real group, you know? And it's like, no offense to their old stuff. Like, their old stuff I think was great. But now they're like a group, and it's like, holy shit, like, this guy stuck with it for over 20 years just to finally break through. I mean, that type of work ethic is what I think it's all about. And I think part of you has to be a lunatic. Like, with me, I mean, part of me is like, why the fuck am I making these videos for all these years? And, you know, like, I've had a lot of viral videos. I've gotten really close to like breaking through, and it never happened. And then it's like any normal person would take a step back and be like, wait, like, I'm getting old. Like, I can't do this shit anymore. I got to make a living here. But for me, I was just, I don't know, I kind of just like stuck with my guns and was like, I feel like this is good content. And a lot of people are calling me an asshole, but some of them are saying it's brilliant, so let's kind of run with those people and keep making it.
Wait, why are they calling you an asshole?
Oh, God. Over the years, I've had a lot of viral videos. And to me, I almost think, like, they didn't really reach, like, the hip-hop community. They reached, like, the internet community.
Right.
And there's a lot of assholes on the internet community. And, like, a lot of them didn't get it. And they didn't understand that, like, some of these subtle references I'm making, only hip-hop fans would understand them. You know what I mean? Like, some of them, they're just like, oh, this is just like clips played over a song. I'm like, asshole, how could you say that? Like, I'm spending so much time for each 5 seconds that, like, there's no way these are just clips. And I think, you know, the biggest breakthrough was all of a sudden, like, going on Instagram, kind of doing the same thing I always did, but short versions of them. And then, like, the hip-hop community embrace me with open arms. And, I mean, I can't be more thankful, seriously.
What, or maybe who did in the hip hop community was the first kind of compliment that kind of to you justified, all right, I'm doing it right?
Well, very early. Well, okay, before anything took off on Instagram, DJ Hurricane, who's the DJ of the Beastie Boys and, you know, been around forever, he just, like, reached out to me out of the blue. And it was to the point where I was checking Instagram maybe, like, a couple times a week, tops. Then all of a sudden I had these notifications. I'm like, wait a minute, this is DJ Hurricane. And he wrote me a DM, like we got to talk and this and that. And, you know, that kind of like at like a very dark time for me where everything stopped going viral on YouTube. And I'm talking, I had like 10 in a row that were like instant viral hits, like tons of views on everything, press, the whole nine. And then all of a sudden I drop about 5 to 7 of them that got under 5,000 views. And it was like, you know, I can't justify the time if nothing's happening. So he reached out to me at a time where I was really kind of thinking, man, like, what am I doing here?
Right.
And that was huge. That was huge. But then, you know, after that, once like I did this new kind of format, the guy by the name of Kinetic, who was in The Arsonists, great dude who just like started sharing my stuff and like out of the kindness of his heart, not looking for anything. So, I mean, that was huge. And then, I did a Big L video and a Pharaoh Monch video like 2 days apart. And Pharaoh Monch shared it. Diamond D shared it because he did the beat for Pharaoh Monch, and they've both been great to me. And then the Big L one, Lord Finesse shared it. And then ultimately DJ Premier, who gave me an amazing shout out. And he's one of my favorite producers. He is my favorite producer of all time. So to me, right when I saw that, I'm like, holy shit. Like it was all like in 2 days. All these people that I've been fans of for so long just like kind of gave me the nod of approval. And that's when I knew like, all right, like this is something here. And honestly, I only had like 7,000 followers at that point. Wow. So
you talked about Big L.
Sure.
You did Big L's Flamboyant with Yaku from the Mania.
Oh, that was more recent.
More recently. But obviously Big L died way too soon. Lyrically was amazing. His flow, wordplay, it was just an incredible storyteller, MC. What are the similarities between Big L and Yaku from the Animaniacs?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I just thought that was like a good fit. That wasn't one where I put a lot of thought in the character selection. I have to be honest, but like I just thought like that was a good fit, and something about it. I like already cut up the clips, and I kind of saw what I had, and there was like a few things that I'm like, oh my god, like it kind of just like clicked in my head, like this is perfect for Big L, and I kind of just strung them together like that.
Cool. I admittedly have not seen the Pharaoh Monch mashup. So
you haven't seen it?
I have not seen it.
Oh, I did a couple. Yeah.
So if you could just, Pharaoh Monch is one of my favorite artists, and I've interviewed him a few times.
Me too. Yeah.
If you could just talk about kind of the songs that you did and the cartoons you mashed up with it.
Honestly, like this one, I'm very like much not the type to compliment myself, but I'm giving myself a pat on the back for this one because I did the song "The Truth," starring Pinocchio, and I thought like no matter what I did, it's like that's perfect. Like even if I like didn't execute it well, just those two together are absolutely perfect. Right. And then when he saw it, like he flipped over it, he shared it, he posted on my page, he followed me, and then like all of a sudden it's like the momentum started. Like that was like the real turning point. It really was unbelievable. And then the other one I did was song off Sound Bombing to the Green Lantern.
Oh, nice.
And
the Mayor you did?
Oh no, World War III.
Oh, World War III.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. With
and I don't know, like for something about it, like it just worked. And you know, honestly, like within like an hour or two of me posting it, it's already shared on Pharaoh's page. Like to me, that's like it's unreal that I could reach these rappers that I've loved for so long. Like it's unreal.
It's crazy. I mean, crazy just even watching the likes on your Instagram page, which is, I mean, you see like the names that my likes are just like friends I know, but your likes are like DJ Scratch, like
it's
Pharaoh Monch, Tech from Smith and Wesson.
Dude, I still can't believe it. And I gotta say, Tech from Smith and Wesson like has been so good to me. And a dude like that who I've been a fan of for 20 years, like for someone like me, when I see him, even if it's just a like or a little simple comment, like when I see him in my notifications, like that's what keeps me going. Like it's like if anyone likes my videos, thank dudes like that, because if I didn't get them, I wouldn't be doing these anymore. Like I gave myself like a little bit of a timeline, and if things didn't start taking off, I was done. And I was done forever. And that's what's so crazy about it, that it's like, holy shit, like this last little effort that I tried to put out there, it actually fucking worked. After 15 years of making videos, like this little thing actually worked. Like I still can't get over it.
Instagram. In Instagram, we only have 60 seconds to see a video. Some of your videos are 60 seconds, some of them are shorter. How do you choose two things? How do you choose the lyrics you want to highlight of a song? And then also, how do you choose, and you kind of gone over this part, but how do you choose the parts of the cartoon that you're going to, I mean, what comes first, I guess? You know what?
I also, like, speaking of shares, I got like an amazing share from Funk Flex, and he followed me, you know, he shared it, and he's like another guy where, like, if I see him liking one of my videos, I flip out. You know, I've been like a Hot 97 fan since I was a little kid, but I kind of said to him when he first started sharing them, like, Flex, you have to understand you're a huge inspiration for this, because a Friday night Funk Flex set on Hot 97 is like 20 seconds of just the best bars into the next one, into the next one. It's not like no nonsense, no chorus, no nothing. And that's kind of like the format that I'm running with. And, you know, it's absolutely influenced by him, because I think, like, I don't know, that's what people want to see. They just want to see like the best bars, like a quick, like, cool little thing. And my old videos, I was going too much for like the crossover rap hits, and like sometimes it worked, but sometimes it was like in my later videos that weren't going viral, I'm kind of doing songs that I wouldn't really like be listening to, you know? And like I wanted to like create this in the sense where like I wanted to like go back and be able to listen to like every song and not like skip through it, like, oh, this is a cheesy played out song. Like I just wanted every kind of like classic rap song I could do. Like that was it.
You use Muppets in a video called "When the Muppets Rap Better Than Today's Rappers."
Oh, yeah, that was just a whole bunch of my old videos strung together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what that was. Yeah.
Anyway, but think of like what is for you? What's the major difference with today's MCs versus kind of the MCs that you highlight with, like, I mean, an ODB?
Look, the way the internet is now, like, you can't say, like, I don't like something, otherwise there's, like, a million people, oh, my God, like, how could you say you don't like this and whatever, but I think it's just, like, a generational thing, I think, but my opinion is that the rap that I grew up with is a whole nother world from the stuff that you hear today. And I know there's good people out there today. I know, like, people are putting out good stuff. You just have to look for it. But again, like, I'm getting older. This is the shit that I grew up with. Like, this is the shit I want to do. Like, that's what this page is all about. And part of it is, like, after all the years of, like, you know, putting out good videos and stuff and then, like, falling all the way away from grace, I started becoming one of those guys that was like, oh, like, I know more about hip hop than this person. And like, I know this. And like one of these guys from the sidelines, like, oh, I could do better. And then when I was like, wait a minute, like, I'm a content creator. I'm not a consumer. Right. And I took a step back and was like, let me prove that I know more about hip hop than these assholes out here. Like, that was it. Like, I was just like, nah, like, fuck them. Like, I'm not doing anything that, like, people want me to do now. This is all, like, this is the stuff that I want to do.
And you're not, I mean, obviously you're not just, like, new school sucks guy type of guy.
No.
I mean, you even mentioned that one of your favorite, I think you even said in an interview, your favorite, video, your best video was the Kendrick Lamar video.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think
that might have changed at the time. Yes. But I mean, that said, like, what is it about for you as someone who grew up listening to hip hop? What is it about Kendrick that speaks to you?
Well, that song in particular, I think, was like a perfect fit for Rick and Morty. I mean, it was a song about alcoholism, and like it was just like everything about it was so perfect. And that's more of like a show one, where if you're a fan of that show, you're gonna love that video, and like if you're a Kendrick fan, you're gonna like it and whatever. But like that's more of like hidden little references and subtleties from Rick and Morty type of thing. But, you know, Kendrick, to me, is just like, he's clearly better than most people, you know? And like J. Cole is clearly better than most people. And it's like, I think they have a little bit more of that older style almost, you know? I don't know. And again, like, I don't want to, like, blatantly hate on anyone, but it's something about, like, that auto-tune twang that, like, the second I hear it, I'm just like, next, you know? Like, I'm not even sitting through it. And I know it's not just me. I know that it's not. It's like, I always say that Autotune came around. It was like Akon. He was like the only guy doing it. And then like T-Pain came through and made it like his own and had his own style. And it was like everyone used to call the Autotune effect back in the day, if you remember, the T-Pain effect.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was known as. Then someone decided like, oh, everyone should use Autotune, like some fucking producer somewhere. And I think it's kind of like trash, It's like there doesn't need to be Autotune on every fucking track. Like there doesn't need it. And I don't know. I just don't like that sound personally. That's just me.
What is for you? What is the? I'm gonna try to take your love of hip hop and artists and producers, and and compare them to what is your love of cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So who is in the cartoon world? Who is the Rakim of cartoons?
Oof, that's tough. Look, back in the day, the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons was some of the best television ever. But, it's kind of crazy to say at this point, but I think like South Park has been way more consistent for way longer. And, I don't know, like, I just think that show is absolutely brilliant. Like, I just think like it's one of those shows that people are like, oh, you still watch South Park? And it's like, yeah, when's the last time you saw it? Like, it's unbelievable every week, like for years and years, and it's only getting better almost. So that's got to be in the conversation. And then some of these new ones, I think like BoJack Horseman to me is absolutely like flat out brilliant. And like, that's another one people won't give a chance because it's animated,
right,
And like, to me, like that is just that it's a comedy and a drama. And I think they excel tremendously in both of them, both those areas.
Who's your favorite, your best hip hop duo, but then also your best cartoon duo?
Oof. Oh man, it's so tough to say. I mean, before we got on air, we were talking about Black Star. I mean, Black Star's got to be up there. Mobb Deep's got to be up there in terms of duos. I think those are my big two right there. Like, if those are the first two that come to my mind, I think that's got to be like in terms of duos, like my big two. MOP's great, you know what I mean? Like, there's a ton of great duos, but those are the ones that really stand out. And then like cartoon duos. That's a tougher question. I really don't know. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
You mentioned it before, but is there like, and I ask hip hop artists this. It's like the question I ask them is there a lyric that you've created in your career that kind of says, "Oh shit, I'm good. Like I made that." So for you, is there a mashup or a video? It doesn't even have to be necessarily that you've made and you constantly like go to it and be like, wow, I'm incredible. Yeah,
well, that one was like the Kendrick Lamar one for a while, because that was like my real turning point of how I really learned how to manipulate animation, how I really like was able to do it efficiently and correctly, I think. And that's also what got me hired by Adult Swim. So Adult Swim contacted me like 2 years prior after my very first like big viral video. It was a Muppets one. And the guy was so cool and was just like, hey, like, so what could you do with our stuff? And I was just like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, I thought I just got lucky with this viral video and stuff. And I was in the marketing world for so long, just getting like beaten down by non-creative types, like for so many years that I kind of like started thinking like, maybe I'm not good enough, like that's it. And this video came out and I was still at this company, and there were a bunch of shitheads there that were kind of like, well, I don't get it. And like, why did you take the time to do this? This is what you did on the weekend and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, it had over 1 million views. I was in Time Magazine. I was in People. I was in like all the big ones. And people are still questioning why I'm doing these. So I had no confidence at all. And this guy, Matt Harrigan, called me from Adult Swim, and he was like, no, dude, like, you know how much companies would pay for this? Like, don't second guess yourself at all. Like, this is a fucking great piece of work. And I was just like, really? I'm like, oh, what does this guy know? And then I kind of like looked him up and I saw all his credits. I'm like, holy shit, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, oh my God. So 2 years later, I finally like built up the courage to reach out to him again and say, look, I think I'm ready. And it took him like a couple months to get back to me. And one day he just got back to me. He's like, hey, I watched the Rick and Morty video. It's great. Can we talk? It's like, oh shit, like, yeah, let's talk, man. So that Rick and Morty one is the one I always kind of like go back to.
How do you handle so you do it out of a labor of love, you do it for passion,
sure,
and then you get Adult Swim. How do you, was there a worry that there would be, this pressure from the company that maybe for some reason would weirdly turn off your creative, instinct or your juices,
No, like the initial worry was just like me being terrified and anxious, like
Right.
because I'm, neurotic. Like that's the initial worry. But honestly, like one conversation with this guy and I was like, oh shit, like this guy's going to let me do whatever I want. And I think like early on he was just like, why don't you pitch me a couple ideas? And I pitched him, and I'm used to like people saying, pitch me some ideas, and like barely even listening to me. And like this guy got back to me and was like, I like him. And he's like, let's see what you can do. And I was like, okay, like let's do them. And then like after those initial ideas, he was pretty much just like, yeah, forget about pitching, man. Just keep making these things. And I was like, they signed me to like a 10-week deal. And I was like, how many do you want me to do per week? And he was like, whatever you thinking. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so any restrictions or anything? He's like, no, just use like video from our library and music from our library, and that's it. And that kind of creative freedom is like what I've been looking for my entire fucking career. And like in the marketing world, when I'm like dealing with people that are younger than me, that like know a quarter of what I know about this space, they were the ones shooting me down. And then like here's a guy who's like well established, had many shows on TV, and he's like, no, like I believe in you, just do your thing. That's like that was a huge confidence boost for me, which is something that I needed because I did not have any confidence like those years ago at all.
Two more questions.
Okay, sure.
Is there that perfect, I don't know if this is there a perfect, no, three more questions. Is there a perfect hip hop track that you want to mash up,
Yes.
but has not found that perfect cartoon match for?
No, but like without giving too much away, I've wanted to do Triumph by Wu-Tang for years. And back like 4 or 5 years ago when I was like going viral with these other videos, that thing, like a 5 or 6 minute long video like that would have taken me like a month, Now I think like if I really bust my ass, like maybe I could get it done in a week.
Wow.
2, maybe, like if I really bust my ass.
Is that working all day?
No. That's like, work, putting in like a good like 5-6 hours a day for a couple weeks. I think I could get it done now. And I could get my other work done like that actually pays my bills, which is like, becoming more and more important. But that's the one that I've always like thought like, all right, I gotta do this one. But again, like, a lot of my old followers, and no offense to anyone, like there were some great followers like over the years, some great ones, but a lot of them weren't really hip hop fans. They're just fans of like cool internet shit. And that's not really who I'm going after. Like I want hip hop fans. Like my Instagram messages and comments are a whole nother fucking level nowadays. And it's like, I want to respond to these people because they're like sending me suggestions and I'm like, yeah, like, you know what? That's a great song. Thank you. That's a great song, great suggestion. Like on Facebook, for example, my following on there is double the size, or triple the size. And I get like weird comments on there still. Of, like I did like a Tribe Called Quest video and like someone's writing like, why the fuck would you pick this song of all songs? I'm like, dude, because like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like let me do the picking. Let me do the picking. Like don't fucking worry about what I'm picking. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that, man, like these new fans on Instagram, I fucking love these people. I really do. It's unbelievable.
Why Triumph? Why would you? Why that song?
Because it covers all bases. Look, first of all, it's an absolute classic. Had some commercial success, which was like my old way of thinking. So like that's why I always kind of had it in my mind. But it's got everyone from Wu-Tang on there, and there's not many songs that do, and not many songs that would really work like that. And it's just such a fucking classic that I just think, man, if I really executed that right, it would work out great. And I don't know if you saw the Protect Your Neck one.
Yes, yeah,
but
I did, yes,
that was another like big turning point for my Instagram stuff because I started that as like an 8-part Instagram series, moved it over to like a 1 video thing on YouTube and on Facebook. And they both did well over there, but then everyone kind of came back to my Instagram because I was like saying this is where it originated, and that's what really kind of like got the wheels in motion. I'd say in like late May. It really wasn't that long ago at all.
Speaking of the Protect Your Neck video you
Sure.
did, you make you decide that the Joker is ODB.
Yeah.
And you decide Space Ghost is Ghostface. Splinter's the RZA.
Yeah, because, look, he's the leader of the
leader.
clan. Yeah. Come on.
Real quickly, just talk about kind of ODB's inspiration on you, and what was, I guess, what was that like, kind of creating this character for ODB in this video?
Well, I mean, I just thought the Joker was fucking perfect. That was like one of those things that at first I'm like, what cartoon character is going to be ODB? And I'm like looking through stuff, and then like once it clicked, I'm like, oh, done. Like that's it. It's absolutely perfect. I originally started that video as like, I'm sitting there one day and I'm just like, wait a minute, Inspector Deck as Inspector Gadget? I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's perfect. And I just like did that one, and seriously, like it got 200 likes, and back then that was like huge, like on Instagram for me. Now I get 200 likes in like the first fucking 2 minutes, which is insane. But like,
It's true.
over like 24 hours,
Yeah.
I got 200 likes on that thing, and I'm like, wow, like people really like this. Like, you know what? Who could I make the chef? And it's like, perfect. Oh, Chef from South Park. Let's fucking go. And then like it kind of just snowballed that way. And I was like, I guess I got to do this whole song. And thank God I did, because that was really it. But that ODB part was like, to me, like some of this stuff, it's like so hard to pick until you do pick it, and then it's like so obvious to me. It's like, oh my God, like why wouldn't I think of ODB? Like for Joker, like it's perfect. And I don't know, I just like found the right clips and edited them right, and I was just like, I was really happy with like the way that part came out. But I released that part on, I think like a Sunday. I didn't have any schedule back then. I was just kind of like putting them up there, and it was the lowest viewed out of that 8-part series.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and like I kind of like, again, I'm like trained to like see that happening and be like, oh, so all right, that's the worst part. And then when I like put everything together and put it on like Facebook and YouTube, I like go through all the comments like a lunatic, and so many of them were like, oh my God, like the ODB part was perfect. And I'm like,
Nice.
yeah, like, wait a minute, like, was it perfect? Like, maybe it was. Like, okay, okay. Like, but then it like, all right, like, I guess it was.
Oh, what's your, when you do you have, when you're thinking of these videos, and let's say you get stuck, whatever, everyone gets a brain fart, right?
Sure, yeah.
Do you have a go-to album that you kind of like, to kind of like, could be a hip hop album that gets you kind of helps you clear your head?
Well, I have plenty of go-to albums, but I think like in that scenario you're describing, it's more like the Music Choice Classic Hip Hop channel, like on any cable, I just throw that channel on like in the background, and I rarely ever hear a song that I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that song. But it'll just be like one little thing from one little artist, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, that reminds me of this. And
Nice.
then like I start getting in like a rabbit hole, and like I do like a lot of searching on YouTube, and like you're playing a little bit of a song, and then it's like you got the related videos right there. And I don't know, sometimes I'm just like, that's like my method. But recently I'm just sticking to my guns and saying like, nah, like I know what songs I want to do. Like everyone's leaving these suggestions. I hate to admit this, but I think it is kind of hilarious that like everyone's leaving these suggestions, and I encourage them to in the comments. I never fucking use any of them, like ever. And but I do tell them that like I see these suggestions sometimes, and I'm like, wait a minute, like now let me look at this.
Right, trigger
and,
something else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I even like pulled out like my old CD book. I got like one of these like huge CD books, like from back in the day. And I don't even play those CDs, but like sometimes just flipping through it, looking something up and being like, oh, wait a minute, like, okay, this is what I'm looking for here. And I kind of have like specific plans in mind, like, every day that I'm just like the song part's the easy part at this point. And one big question that I get a lot from non-hip hop fans, they're like, isn't it going to get to the point that you run out? Like, haven't you run out of ideas already? And I'm like, well, first of all, you're not a creative type, so like you can't think the way that I think. No offense, but no, there's no shortage in sight of classic hip hop to me, and I've only scratched the surface so far.
I thought I had one. I thought I was almost done, but I actually
bring it on.
You
Look,
made
I
me,
came all the way here.
You made me think of. You just talked about the CD jacket that you had, and I
Sure.
and I have one as well because I used to do a show in college, and shit's huge. And now obviously we're in the digital age, so you don't need that anymore. How much of a role does does the actual CD jacket of an album play for you in terms of does it play a role in terms of being creative or any sort of inspiration if you're like going through it and you read a cover or something like that?
Growing up, like, absolutely. I mean, I would read through every one of those books, and like to the point where I would see who they would thank, and I'd see like the producers and like everything about it. But yeah, it's like weird in this digital age, like especially like once like things kind of started shifting. I remember like I was like still living at home, and my parents were like, "Oh, do you want all these like empty CD cases? All your CDs are in these books anyway." And it like just got to the point that it was like, "No, like what the fuck do I need them for?" And it was like in hindsight, it's like, man, I should have kept like the booklets or something.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. I am a little bit more old school in the sense of like I appreciate good album art and I appreciate the liner notes and stuff, and that's like the old style of music way of thinking, But like that's something that I think we lost in the digital age.
What's your two questions? What's your absolute favorite thing about what you're doing?
Absolute favorite thing is the rappers following me. Like yesterday, I put out I'm doing Locks Week, which I did one Locks video before like things started taking off, and I've gotten like a lot of messages like, man, like you got no love for the Locks. I'm like, nah, fuck you, first of all. Like, of course I got love for the Locks. Like, Locks is like, to me, like as a New Yorker fan of hip hop, Locks like is in the conversation of one of the best groups ever. So I've been putting it off, honestly, because I got to do all three of them. Like, I can't just do a Styles P video and not do Jada and Sheik. Like, I have to do all three. So I put out the first one yesterday as Styles, and my notifications are coming in so quick that like most of the time, like I can't keep up with them, but I happen to like check them at the exact right time that like within like a minute apart, Jada and Sheik just followed me.
Awesome.
Like, and that to me is without a doubt the best part about this, that like these rappers that I've loved for so fucking long, they're following me now. Like, and again, I've had a lot of viral videos over the year. I've gotten posts from great rappers and stuff. And I had a phone call with Warren G back in the day after his video went viral. Like, you know what I mean? Like and cool stuff like that. But like, no one ever followed me. And like, now it's like so many rappers that I love are following me, and producers and DJs and stuff like that. And to me, that's just absolutely surreal. I still can't get over it. I still look through, like, as you said, you could see who likes it, like who you're following, and, then like it goes to the regular people. I mean, sometimes I look through there and I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe all these people are liking this video. That's awesome. Like that's the coolest thing about this, without a doubt. Speaking
of following you, how do we follow you?
At Mylo the Cat, MYLO the Cat, which look, I'm not a fucking cat page, all right? Like, I kind of like use this cat of like one of my best friends, his cat, like, when we were working in the same recording studio back in the day, I used him as like my character and my logo. And then like my whole plan, like over the years, was like, who's going to follow Adam video editor page? Right. Let's make it like a cat page, and let's try and like do something like that. So
get the cat crowd.
Yeah. So I've been like running under this name, like, or variations of this name for a good 10 plus years. And I kind of stuck with it. And like, there's been plenty of people over here, oh, you should change the name and this and that. And it's like, I have too much shit out there. Yeah, sure. Like over such a long period of time. Like, I can't change the name now. It is what it is. It's fucking Mylo the Cat. And same thing on Facebook. YouTube, Is This How You Go Viral? But you could probably get there by Mylo the Cat. And Twitter, you could probably get there by Mylo the Cat, but some dude like 7 years ago when I was signing up for Twitter, I like made the mistake of like saying it in a video or on like a post or something, like, yeah, I'm gonna finally bite the bullet and sign up for Twitter. And then I like got a message from this dude, LOL, signed up using your name. Damn. I was like, oh, dude, like, come on. And like, he's been inactive like ever since. And I'm like, come on, man. Like so on Twitter, I'm MTC Y'all. Mylo, so if it stands for Mylo the Cat Y'all, which is just like one of these things. Like I made a name in 2 seconds. I didn't realize Twitter was going to be around, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of Twitter anyway, so I don't care.
He's Mylo the Cat, aka Adam, who does these incredible mashups. First one I saw was Peter Griffin and Homer doing Fat Joe and Big Pun.
Cool. And I just want to say, I checked out your stuff, and I want to thank you for having me on, because anyone who doesn't know, Tim's guests are nothing but legendary rappers and stuff like that. Like, I'm fucking, in the grand scheme of things, I'm nobody. So just the fact that you would have me on and give me a shot like this, man, like, I really appreciate it. I got to say.
No, thank you, man. I mean, just listening to you talk and kind of understanding how your mind works, which I think is like just as crazy as mine, and in some aspects in terms of audio and questions. I mean, I really appreciate more and more what you're doing.
And I do have to say too, we spoke about it off air, but I just want to bring up that I respect what you're doing too, because you're doing like the exact same kind of thing that I am, where it's like you're following your passion, you're going for it, and I'm sure you get like 1 million people a day saying, like, "Oh, when's the money gonna start rolling in for this?" And like, are you not getting paid? And I'm like, fucking, who cares? You know what? Like, look, I got a job. Like, I'm a video editor for several companies. Like, I got a job, but like, I want a little more.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, this is what I'm doing to try and make it happen. And if nothing happens, I put out a bunch of cool shit on the internet that people like. Like, you know what? Like, and that's it. That's my story. Like, that's it.
Adam, thank you so much, man, for being on the Library with Tim Heinekel. Thank you, man.
No problem. Thanks, man.
Shopping for skincare is frustrating. Buy it, try it, toss it, repeat. Curology is here to help. Curology pairs with your own licensed dermatology provider who assesses your skin and prescribes you a custom formula to tackle acne, dark spots, or even fine lines. No guesswork, just a formula made to work for you. Get your consultation today at Curology.com/SXM. Curology, skincare with a face. Subject to consultation, subscription required. Cancel anytime.
Want to make Mom's day? Get to your Nordstrom Rack now and score amazing deals for Mother's Day, which is Sunday, May 12th. Find tons of gifts from only $30 at Nordstrom Rack. Fragrance, jewelry, luxury bags, activewear, beauty, and more. Save on Kate Spade New York, Stuart Weitzman, and Ted Baker London. Great brands, great prices. So shop your Nordstrom Rack store today and treat Mom to the good stuff from just $30.